an honor to be able to welcome you in this space at this time. I'm Michelle, and with me, my soul sister.
Narda.
I have to get this correctly with the recording part. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, you over here. You over here.
There we go. So, we're going to start things off with a quote. Let's just ensure that we open ourselves up to receiving this. Hmm. So powerful. Narda, share
Very
it
much
with us
so.
because I know you are very much connected to this one.
Yeah. I can relate with it for myself personally, mainly years gone than now. I think so many times in our lives we think everything is all haywire and God have abandoned us and everything is we are left in the cold and it's actually we're walking around like this. And we're looking in the opposite direction of the light. We're looking at the light is to our backs, and we're like walking the opposite direction, and we're thinking, God, but you have abandoned me. Where's God? Where's God? Where's God? Where's the power of divine? And it's actually divine is there. You just need to flip around and see in the lighter side of things. And it's not like God is not there. And I think so often, like even for myself, as I said personally, I can relate with it because throughout my life. There are many times I cried wolf and say that God wasn't present or had abandoned me, and it actually was a great tremendous life turn or opportunity for transformation growth and even to birth something amazing, to birth an experience, to birth a quality within me, a gifting. And yeah, so I can get quite passionate about that, just that one quote, Michelle, so like we could dive. Yeah, so what does that come up bring up for you though?
Sometimes I think we blind ourselves from what is before us. We search by looking more at the crisis as opposed to the opportunity that is there for us. And I
Mm,
think out of evil cometh good. And we need to
mm,
know that everything is working in our favor. It's not
mm,
happening to you, but for you. It's working in
yeah.
your favor. It's working for your greater good. But we have to
Mhm.
open ourselves up to receive the goodness that's
Yeah.
there for us. We have to expect goodness instead of expecting something different from what is our birthright, which is greatness.
Mm. And what you just said, I feel like we could expand and blow that up even more and go into great
Yes.
detail.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah,
Wow.
it's like, and I encourage people and I urge people to like that one quote, just look at it, think it into your heart, and like, where in your life are you actually, you're the one blocking the light of God coming into your life, or your back is turned from God, and you're thinking God is turned from you, and actually you're the one who's turned from divine.
Maybe that is the kind of quotation that you can
Mm,
hold on to and use as a
mm,
meditation, use as
mm,
active meditation. And it could literally be a phrase that you ponder on and you
mm,
focus on the different aspects of that quote and ask
mm,
yourself, the universe, what is the universe? What is God? What is divine? What
mm,
is dark? What is light? And
mm,
really work with it.
yeah,
Definitely something
yeah.
to be expanded on.
That's a great, excellent suggestion because that's when the ego drops the
Yeah.
information into your heart and like, ooh, I'm like, oh, like. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's that. I remember, like about 12 years ago, I fell asleep. I was being introduced. Let me go back a little bit. Was being introduced to a lot of things like the law of attraction and spirituality from a greater
Right.
perspective, and I remember diving into a lot of information. I was like, oh, so excited. I dived, and I remember falling asleep with the quote: "We are spirit beings having a human experience. We are
Correct.
not spirit. So we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. Whereas my entire life, I thought I was a human being having a spiritual experience with a little church experience here and a church experience there, a little Holy Ghost experience over there. And that night I actually had a very conscious experience in the cosmos. I literally felt my entire being lifted off,
Wow.
and it was. mind-boggling. I got up from sleep like because I was in that in between sleep and wake state, but I felt as though the expansion that I was meditating, and a lot of people might be afraid of that. But because anything that is expansive and outside the box that we were raised with and we were told, you can tend to like shy away from. But God knew my sincerity because I fell asleep meditating on God with that quote, and that is that expansive experience that I had. And I could say this. So when you just said that it took me back to that memory, and it's like excellent, excellent suggestion, Michelle.
When you open yourself up, just
Mhm.
let go. And hey, it reminds me that it's just about that time in which I think we need to share our downloads for this
Ooh.
on heart and mind today. Hmm.
Mm.
For me, what's coming through is the importance of letting go.
Mm.
And I think it still connects to that quote that we shared. But the importance of letting go, knowing that something is not happening to you, but for you.
Yeah.
When you get a no, it's never no. It's either not right now, bigger is coming, you
Mhm.
wait and see. So we need to say thank you for those no's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if we look at the pandemic, I've had situations in which I may have had to meet a friend or someone dear to me, and something would come up for them,
Mhm.
and they would be trying their hardest to possibly meet with me. And I would say, hey, divine timing, don't worry about it. Just
Mhm.
allow the is to is. Whenever it's time, it's time.
Yes. Yes.
And some of those cases ended up being persons that unfortunately at that time may have contracted COVID-19 or something
Wow.
else may have happened. But I just always believe that we need to accept when something is not happening is because something else
Mhm.
is happening.
Wow.
Something
Mhm.
great is coming. You're being protected from something. You never know. But just
Mhm.
never take a no as, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
just thank you. Oh my God,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Oh.
It is really to challenge that perception and
Mm.
know that we've got to let go and stay in
Mhm.
the flow. That's what's on Heart and
Yeah.
Mind today in terms of download.
Wow. Oh gosh, Michelle, that's so profound because on my personal spiritual journey and expansion and growth and stepping into my life purpose, that
Yes,
was one of the main things I had to learn to do. To let go and let God, let go and be in the flow of things working for me. And
yes,
knowing that it was, despite how bad it looked and despite how, heart wrenching it may have seemed, it was actually working for me. And understanding and trying to derive a meaning, a positive meaning out of it for myself. To say, like, okay, what are the lessons I can learn in this? What is the opportunity that's being presented here? What is trying to emerge out of me? What kind of qualities is trying to actually emerge out of me in this situation? And it was a greater practice, a conscious practice to begin to really dive into it and consciously stay consistent on that what you're saying, that literally looking at it as an opportunity opposed to like thinking, oh, the world, of the victim consciousness, like the world is against me, everything is against me, or this friend, like if you call the friend and the friend doesn't pick up, you call the friend again, thinking automatically, bringing up the childhood wounds and the abandonment issues. Maybe that friend is you create a story around it, but actually the friend was potentially dealing with something else on his or her end. And so
yes.
it's all, like we tend to give it some sort of low by meaning. That's just the purpose, the humanistic part of ourselves kind of go.
When we need to go
So
higher.
yes, 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 definitely go higher. And like I can't tell you, I think that was one of the main in the top 10 things in my life, in my personality, my learning that I had to learn to do. And I think it's for all of us, and everybody listening and everybody watching to, you know, see how that can fit into your own practice, into your own life, into your own experience. So
I'm,
thank
I'm
you, Michelle.
happy
I
you
love
said
that.
that. I'm happy you said that. And it is because early on my spiritual walk, what I noticed was that, maybe when it's time to reach out to a friend or a family member, someone that I wanted to possibly confide in,
Mm-hmm.
can't get them on the phone. And I would just stop, relax, and say,
Mm-hmm.
Heavenly Father, You want to handle this for me. You
Yeah.
want to speak directly to me. I'm listening.
Mhm. Yes.
So we need to embrace when things are possibly not going
Yes.
the way we may have
Yes.
expected, that it's really lining up to go even better
Exactly.
than we
Yes.
may have expected.
Indeed. And Michelle, I giggled when you said that because it's something too for myself that I
Yeah.
had to remind myself of. Like sometimes it's that time for just you and God. You and divine. It's not just to pull in a friend and experience and chit chat with a girlfriend or something. In that
Right.
time, it's me just entertain the possibilities. Just know you need to sit in that with just you and divine, with you and God. You know? I love it. I love it, Michelle. That's amazing what you shared.
Yeah. Thank you, my
Mm.
darling. So I am thinking at this time we can do some soul inspection. So this one is quite new. I wrote this earlier this year, and it is called Regrettably. Regrettably.
Mm.
I regret fighting for what I should have let go. How life would have been without this, I will never know. I
Mm.
didn't want to regret. That is why I gave it another try. Yet what you fear seems to find a way to look you straight in the eye. By trying to avoid regret, I only drew it to me faster. Should have surrendered and let it be, as not every cut needs a plaster. Regrettably, I say, I think I have outgrown you. Truth is, I find myself wishing that I would have never even known you.
Mm.
So it just moves exactly with the flow of what we started talking about,
Mm.
in terms of understanding that sometimes there are places, there are people, there are things, there are situations, whatever that you're holding on to, we have to let go. And by letting go,
Mm.
we really receive what is there for us.
Mm. Yes, 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 yes. And it's something. It's totally in alignment to what came up in my heart. It's like the thing is how often we hold on to things, or we a situation, a thing, a person, an ex relationship, a quality about yourself, an addiction, whatever. You try to hold and cling to it. And I always tell clients, and I tell my people around me, and I don't know if Michelle ever said this to you, but I definitely use it for myself as a gauge. Is it
Wow.
taking you closer to God, or is it taking you away from God? And being
Yes.
very honest,
Yes.
being as
Yes.
a measuring tool, is it taking you closer to God or taking you away from God? If you be absolutely honest with yourself, and you be honest with what you're feeling, you would know that that toxic relationship or the toxic habit or toxic addiction or whatever is taking you away from God, the well-being of God, your divine life purpose, the person you were born to be. All of that is connected under the umbrella of divine. So, like it's such a interesting thing. I think that needs to be in exactly the letting go, like what you said. It needs to be right up there in terms of, is it drawing me closer to God
Closer
or
to
drawing me
God.
away from God? Hmm.
And I think in today's world, the term that everyone is using, thanks to Ciara, is level up, level up, level up, level up, level up.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And we are talking about level up, up.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
this
it
is like
drawing
level
you more?
all
Yeah,
the way,
not
all the
in
way up.
terms of the material, but in terms
No,
of
no, 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 no.
the spiritual and heartical. Is it taking you closer to your creator and making you
Yes.
so much greater?
You know, Michelle, like is like this. We were born with a purpose. That's
Yes.
before we came into this life. Purpose was actually breathed into us on a spiritual level, on an energy level. We were breathed into this life with the very purpose. We were sent here to live out a purpose, a divine life path, with meaning, something that was extraordinary. And how dare we hold ourselves back to prevent that from happening? And oftentimes it's the relationship that you should let go. It's the job you should let go. It's the
Yes.
toxic trait or habit or addiction you should let go. It's the what else? It's the habitual anger, the childhood trauma. Those are the things that you should let go, and a lot of people cling to it. So imagine this, reframe this, and shift the perspective. By clinging to that, are you really honoring? the purpose that you were born to be, to live out, to experience the vision of you were born to be? Are you really honoring God, that the fact that you were sent here to be, to live
Yeah.
out, and everybody have a life purpose. Everybody have a purpose. It may not be standing on stage like Tony Robbins, or it may not be like speaking to millions of people, or being an actor like Will Smith. It may not be like that, but it's at least some sort of impact. As I keep using the example of the baker or the cook or the grandmother, the grandmother in the village, in the community, whatever. It's
Yes.
something that one person, that one grandmother is actually igniting the lives of so many other people by being her sweetness. And she's a healer through her sweetness. So every person has a purpose. And I say that with such passion because a lot of time I encounter clients who are like, do I have a purpose? And I'm like, it's sincere and I understand, because especially when you live your life up to like your 50s, your 60s, even your 40s, and like you would think, because you got caught up in a rat race and you get caught up with how the template of life that was handed to you as a child. This is what you do. You go to college, you get a degree, you get a mortgage, you have a wife or a husband, and you have children, and you retire. When you get caught up and you feel an unfulfilled energy within yourself, like there's something more, there must be something more. And then you have a false perception of what life and living is about. So I get a lot of people like that, and that's why I speak so passionately about it, to let people remind them that we all have purpose. So is it taking you closer or taking you away from God?
Interestingly, every time you say something to that effect, there's a member of my family that I always think of.
Mm,
She got her master's. She was so
mm,
great academically. She
mm,
was heading several companies and
wow,
was just an ace at marketing, but left it all, let it all go
wow.
because she felt that it wasn't serving her divine purpose. And she went
Mm,
on to be more inclined to things of a spiritual nature, and she just let that all go. But
mm,
there's something else you say that I think is such a strong point. I know many times when persons have their spiritual awakening and it's something that they were not connected to, they feel in some way so disgusted by their regular journey that they don't realize you can actually do it, as you would always say, in tandem with.
yes,
Because
nothing is
while
by
we're
chance. Hmm.
yeah, while we're spiritual beings having a human experience, let's not forget that we are still having that human
Human
experience.
experience, yes,
But I
yes.
always feel like it is the neophyte journey or newbies when it comes
Hmm.
to really seeking on a deeper soulful level that you just
Mm,
want to get rid of everything. No
yeah,
more
shed.
parties, no this, no that, no da, da, da. Everyone
Hmm.
has to stay away from me, stand clear.
Mm,
But
hmm.
really and truly, I believe it's about balance.
Yes, I agree. I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
and being true to yourself, being true to God
Yeah,
within you, not offending God within you,
yeah, yeah,
honoring God within you, as you said
yeah.
earlier.
All parts of you, all aspects of you, the human side, a lot of people, and I could understand it, because the point in time, whether it be a few months of my spiritual journey, that I was beginning to have that sort of detachment, even to kind of like detaching from the human reality as well. And
Yes,
it at the falls, and I firmly believe I had that experience, so I can understand people who choose to experience that for the entire journey, then to be
yes,
able to speak to them or relate to them in a sense. But that is not where it's at. It's the balances. Because if you're meant to be a spirit being alone, you won't have a human body, and you won't
yes,
have instead of running up, like one of my clients shared with me a couple of days ago. He said he went to the Himalayas, and when he was up there, he was talking to one of those yogis, and saying that I wish I could spend some time here. And the yogi said to him, your role is that suit and tie. Your role is going out there as a spirit being and being out into the world and representing light. That is your role. And your
yes.
role is driving the Ferrari. Your role is that is your role. Be the light in those places, because if all of us escape out of that place, there won't be any
Where would
light.
the light be in those
Mm-mm.
places and those spaces,
Yeah,
those situations?
yeah,
That's so
yeah.
true. But I'm kind of chuckling. I don't know if you saw the smile that starts to enter my face. I remember a conversation you and I had, and it was a session that I was doing with you, and you were cracking up. And it was later on as we had a friendship that developed
Yeah.
into sisterhood. You're like, you know why I laugh every time I hear that? Because I always remember you're so spiritual, but there's that human side. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Because I'm trying to think of what are you talking? Yes. Uh-huh.
You're like, you did
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, and then I would be like, it's such the sweetest, gentlest thing because you
Yes,
have such a pure heart, and I'm like, OMG, the things that you would tell me, and I was like, not,
yes.
is that like it's, like a child, a loving, kind, beautiful child who means well, and go
Yes.
and steal the extra cookie in the cookie jar. How can you do that? You
I
can't do
put
that.
the cookie in the cookie jar. Yes, I did.
Yeah, so I remember one instance, sitting right opposite you and in Trinidad, and I remember you telling me something, and I was like rolling because I was like, oh my gosh, God loves you so much. I was like, God loves you so much because it's I again before let's talk about it. God is a humorous God, God.
Yes,
I think two qualities that you will have that is prime. What next to compassion is love and humor.
yes.
And I think
Humor.
people forget God is a humorous God as well. Where there's
Yes,
laughter, there's light. And
yes,
I think that is why it's so important to be in when you try to be enlightened, be lighten up,
correct.
humor,
I
joking.
love I love that. We have,
Mm,
I think too, when I really look at it in terms of my marriage, I am
mm,
always open to share the first years of marriage. It felt like hell for me.
wow.
And I think it is really having a sense of humor and laughter being what
Mm,
I was always after. That was the saving grace for my
mm,
husband and I, being able to look at things and laugh at things, even in the middle of
mm.
discussions that felt difficult. It was always the ability to laugh and
Yes,
look at things as though, yes, it's you, but you look at it as if it were not you, as if you were viewing it on a TV screen,
right.
and you have fun with it. Don't be too absorbed by
Mm,
what is happening. If
yeah,
you
yeah.
allow yourself to be engrossed in the experience, you lose out on the true experience and the true
And
lesson.
I think some of the best relationships have a strong dose of humor.
Yes.
Both people, to lighten up. I can't see life. I personally cannot see life without
Yes.
humor. Even with my clients, like, and you have had the experience that like you gotta crack up like some, and that
Yes.
the lightheartedness. I think that is why I say that one of the lightest qualities of God is the quality of humor.
Yes.
Because okay, think of it like this: when someone is okay, like I can give you an example. In the Secret, the book, the DVD. If some people want to watch it, that was one of the main things that helped shifted me into spirituality, watching the DVD and reading the book. And
Yes.
there was one lady who was talking about how she supported a manifestation. And I wouldn't say manifested outright because I know God creates a divine flows through you and supports the energy. So you can't say that I did it. It
Yes.
supported the entire collective energy. She supported it by healing herself with God um, from of cancer with humor. She said
Wow.
what she did. Of course, she didn't bury her head under a rock, right? She went to her doctor. She did what she had to do. But one of the things she immersed herself in and she surrounded herself nothing but humor.
Yes.
And Michelle, for me, and I know you must sense or at least know the part of this about myself is that when I'm going through something that I know have to be accomplished, and I
Yes.
feel like it's like it is written and it is I block myself off. I go like this, and I only stay in light. If I
Yes.
gotta be in my own zone the entire time, like for a few days or whatever, but I want to build that vibration of only
Yes.
light. I am not ignoring people. I am not treating people badly. I am not ignoring my responsibilities. I'm doing all of that, but I'm also staying in only light. I don't want to hear gossip. I don't want to hear, generally in my personal life, I'm not a gossip person, nor do I entertain it, but I don't want to be in anything low vibration. And
Yes.
and so that is something that I do, especially when I am trying to bring about positive results into a certain area of my life. Or I'm even going into prayer and fast. That's something that I personally do, which people might agree or disagree. It's personal for each person. But yeah. I just think
But
in
I believe in that prayer and fasting, girl,
I know
because
you do. Yeah.
definitely, I think, as you said, that that is not a point we could just lightly allow to pass. We need to focus on that point because there's some things that really you need the prayer and the fasting to be able to make it happen.
Yes, yes.
But
It's a sacredness, it's a reverence, it's a putting yourself, setting yourself aside. That's you and God. I can, and as I'm talking, I'm remembering times of I went into prayer and fast, and I've been by myself, and huge results. Even sometimes results that I didn't even understand. My humanist me was still trying to connect or stay attached to the old. But that's a lot of people are afraid of it because your humanism is connected to what you want, your flesh, the ego self wants something, and when you immerse yourself into this energy, you're putting that
mm,
out for God to release, God to
yes,
remove, detach, and dissolve. The feelings for that man that you may have, but that is toxic, may actually go. The man may
yes,
have to pick himself up and leave. And
yes.
so there's some serious things. But then again, is it taking you closer to God or taking you away from God? So what's the commitment?
And never underestimate the high vibrational value of joy. That is really the
Mm,
emotion that allows us to bring forth manifestations
yeah.
that the Creator has for us. That
Mhm.
high vibrational energy of joy. And
Mhm.
I think together with all of that, random thought that flew into my head. Have you ever seen Buddha not laughing?
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Laughing Buddha. A lot of
Yeah.
times persons think of tranquility and calm and
Mhm.
spirituality. That would be one of the images that would come up. You think of Buddha and persons
Mm,
start to feel and think all Zen, but have you ever seen Buddha not laughing?
that's
Think about
true.
it.
Mhm.
But we really need to ensure that, as you said, you want to be enlightened, lighten up. I love that
Lighten up.
so much, Narda.
No, I think it's like it's so important. Like even like the play on words too. And I know you are the word person.
Love it.
A play on words. But yes, it's true. Like um, and that's for me personally. I'm repelled by the seriousness and being
Yes,
unkind and being stiff. Like I
yes.
think like and I I won't use the word pride, but I choose to live from a place of heart. And when there's that kind of energy, I feel like, oh, let me pull back. Let me just move away from it. So I can imagine like, God, and let's think about it. How many times in our life that we asking God for something or some relief or some healing or some clarity, and then we're being,
Yes.
and what are you repelling, God? Are you repelling the very energy that is light? So
Yes.
yeah, we need to like really enforce being lightening up.
Yes.
And I can almost hear people say, but oh, how can you lighten up when you have responsibilities? I got bills to pay. Da, 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 da. What is your secondary gain behind all of that? What meanings are you putting behind that? Where's your belief system at? Do you believe that things have to be a struggle? Have you bought into that since you were a child? Like things have to
Yes.
be difficult. Yes, you can hold a very structured 9 to 5 and still have fun and still be
Yes.
light and still be full of joy. It doesn't
And
have to be you hate your job and you hate everything and you hate.
correct. And I love that you brought that because I think, especially in the workplace, especially with those 9 to 5s, 8 to 4s, or whatever time period it would be from,
Mm-hmm.
there are persons who believe they need to walk around an office like Darth Vader to get things done. Come on.
Yes.
And there's this saying that we have in Trinidad and Tobago in which they say, never see, come see.
Mm-hmm.
And I always believe if, as a leader or someone in a position of authority, you need to act like that, it's because you're not accustomed to leadership. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
faith in yourself and your ability. And that's why you wouldn't have faith enough in the team that you're serving. You're actually there to serve your team. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to be in the workplace, Darth Vader, to get things done. And
Yes.
this is why I always appreciate the quotation. And it's something that I learned very early in my corporate life, which is happy cows produce good milk.
Yes. Yeah,
You
yeah,
would
yeah,
see
yeah.
how much more you would be able to get from your team.
Yeah.
You stopped trying to create this spirit of fear upon them
Mm-hmm.
and worked with them in a very light and heart-centered way. It doesn't mean that
Yeah.
you have rules and you wouldn't have certain things enforced, but it just means that, hey, Narda's good again. You want to be enlightened, lighten up and show up in every area of your life.
Yeah. So it's for the purpose of educating the world. Let's go back to the word never see come see. Can you break it down for us, for our people outside of Trinidad and Tobago who are not
Never see come.
accustomed?
Basically, never see come see. That term is used when they want to describe someone who's not accustomed to something. So let's say you're not accustomed to knowing what it's like to eat in a fine dining restaurant. You would be in never see come see. So you would go to the fine dining restaurant and you would try to order everything on the menu. You would try your best to act in a particular way based on what you believe somebody at a fine dining restaurant should act like when everyone is
Yes.
probably going to the fine dining restaurant dressed semi-casual. You are with loads of glitz and glamour because you want to prove that you deserve a seat at that table. So never
Mm-hmm.
succumb when you're acting way too much to try to prove that you know something when based on the way you're acting,
Yes.
world knows you never see come see.
So you never see, come see.
See. Yes.
That's our Trini words for the day. For the week.
Of the day. Yes. But let's get
And
into some hot work now, Narda. I love when you do this. Love it.
hard work, I in every single exercise that we do every single week, I always guide people back to the heart. Place your hand. And if people are unaware, what's the meaning of that placing your, it helps you be present with yourself, and it helps you be present with your heart. And I believe the heart is the brain of the soul in the human form, right? So that is where you hear the voice of God. That is where you tune in. So placing your hand on your heart and do that as much as possible in your daily life. Everything that we share in these sessions is like implemented in your daily life. And so I have to go back to the question: Is it taking you close to God, or drawing you closer to God? Is it taking you away from God? So here's the thing: How do you know? In terms of if your intuition is not properly built yet, you're just trying to learn how to follow your inner guidance, the voice of God, the Holy Spirit within yourself. How do you know? Seek to find what is the heavy emotion or the light one. Which one feels heavier? Which one feels lighter? Heavy means no, no, no. Light feels yes. So it's almost like gauging like a tool, asking yourself, is this drawing me closer to God or taking me away from God? And be very mindful. Don't be ignorant. Don't close your eyes to it. Be very honest with what's coming to you. Very, very honest with it. You know, it's just and sometimes it might be like like peeking through, and you might be the one to like, no, 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 you pull it back. No, 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 no. Go deeper. Go deeper. Ignorance is not bliss. That is actually taking you away from your purpose. And do you want to be the one to take yourself away from the purpose, or do you want to be the one? You're the one who's powerful. You're the one who has the power. So don't drive yourself away from the divine life purpose, the very reason that you were born on planet Earth, right? So again, closing your eyes and asking yourself the question: Does it bring me closer to God? Does it draw me closer to God? Is it taking me away from God? I'm taking some deep conscious breath, breathing in and out. Listen, feel. How does it feel? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel, you know, not so pleasant? Does it feel light? Does it feel easy? So easy and light and those things are in the same bracket. Heavy and dense and is in the other bracket. So that's the no. All right. So this is it's hard work, but it's also practical work. It's tuning into yourself. Now, a lot of people do not connect to their soul, but your soul is the biggest aspect of you. And I'm guiding, Michelle and I in these sessions, we always guide people, and it's our heart's intention that people tune into their soul, which is the greatest aspect, your spirit being having a human experience. So I suggest that you listen to your soul through your heart. What is your heart saying? What is your soul saying? What is that your higher self saying? What is God the Creator saying within you? What is the Holy Spirit saying? What is your inner guidance? All the same things, you know. As I said, don't be caught up with the labels. So that is the hard work for this week.
Very beautiful. Hmm.
Yeah, it's practical. It's not every fairy floating around somewhere in the ethers. It's right here. We gotta deal with it. It's right here.
Right there. Love
Mm-hmm.
that so very much. I always feel like when we do that, you feel that beautiful shift in everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That sense of calm,
Yes. Yes.
which I think is so important because even within the hustle and the bustle, we must always look for the calm, find
Mm-hmm.
that calm despite it all.
Mm-hmm.
Connect to the heart, connect to your soul.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get
Oh.
ready. Feel good tips after our hard work. Feel good tips. Feel good tip.
Mm-hmm.
This is an important one. I think, especially coming out of hard work. Ooh, you have to, as I said, maintain that spirit of calm despite the hustle and bustle. But my feel good tip would be writing.
Mm-hmm.
When you write it, you write it. So when you
Mm-hmm.
RITE it, when you write it, you RIGHT, write it. There's something
Mm-hmm.
so powerful about words and the ability to
Mm-hmm.
write. And this is why I always suggest to anyone start journaling on a morning
Yes.
and then just before bed
Mm-hmm.
and use that as an opportunity for you to tune in. There are times,
Mm-hmm.
even if I am going through challenging periods or character building periods throughout the day, I'd pull my journal and I'd start to write. Because when you
Mm-hmm.
write it, you write it. There's power in the words you speak, there's
Mm-hmm.
power in the way you think. And in writing, I always see it as a contract between yourself and divine.
Mm. Oh gosh, I love it. I love it because it's mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual all in one.
Yes.
You know. My feel good tip is more like a mama bear without a whip. Is a feel good tip of be honest with yourself.
Yes.
Just be honest with you. Be authentically honest with yourself. A lot of times, and of course, it's piggybacking off interactions I've had over the past week. It's a lot of times we fool ourselves. We're deliberately fooling ourselves, and we know, we know
Yes.
it's there, it's there. You're telling yourself what you want to hear, what the human side wants to hear. Be honest with yourself, even when you place your hand on your heart and you ask,
Yes.
is this drawing me closer to God or drawing me away from God? Is this drawing me closer to expansion, divine expansion, or is taking me away from divine expansion? Is this drawing me closer to my life purpose, or is taking me away from my life purpose? If you feel like, no, I'll take a little stop over here and I'll come back and I'll jump on the train again in like 2 years, 10 years, 5 years, that train may not come back.
True.
Be mindful, be honest with yourself. Do you feel like, oh well, I'll go have a relationship with this person or that person, and I'll catch up after. No, life doesn't always happen the way that you mentally plan. Oh, I'll not go to school for that yet. I'm gonna go do the rational thing. You may not have the opportunity again, but be honest with yourself because within yourself is your inner guidance. Your inner guidance. Like a client said to me this past week, he got into a very technical field, very established, a very that required a lot of education. And what he
Yes.
really wanted to get into is art. Art is what he really wanted to get into. And he didn't because art makes no money, right? We believe sometimes
Hmm.
floating around on the world, a lot of people. But you know what? Right
Sounds
now,
familiar.
what field is making a lot of money? Art is making a lot of money. You know,
Yes.
it's how you work it. A lot of artists are not technically minded or not marketing minded. Hey, you transfer that responsibility to people like Michelle. Michelle who's into marketing. People like Michelle who thrive and enjoys the marketing role. You could stay in your joy. Give it over to someone else who it's their joy is to do marketing, right?
Yes.
So that's why artists think that they have to market and create art. No, you can outsource. Wisdom. So yeah, be honest with yourself. That's my feel with them. Be honest, absolutely honest. Is this person is the person that you want to get married to? Can you see yourself having a life with this person? Can you see as you're growing and expanding that this person be someone that you can who can accommodate or support? I mean, not grow and expand with you at the same pace, but at least support you on and cheer you on as you grow and expand. Like be honest with yourself and ask those questions. You know, like the young men who like to go after the woman who the sexy bodies and all of that, or the woman who likes to go after the men with sexy bodies. Hey, the body may not always be sexy. Go for the the personality. Go for the qualities of the person.
What is
You know, the,
everlasting? Oh, I'm
yes.
happy you said that. That reminds me of a poem. I used to walk around with an autograph book when I was about 8. And everyone I met, I would ask them to put something that they would want me to hold
Oh,
on to. And I remember my aunt placed, look not for beauty nor color of skin, but look for a heart that is loyal within. For beauty may fade and skin may grow old, but a heart that is loyal
mm,
shall never go cold.
mm,
And that
mm.
I held on to from the moment I was 8.
Wow, wow. That is amazing. Even that walking around with a little book. I think every mother, every father right now, get a book for your child. And every person that comes, everybody that comes in, every older person, anybody with wisdom, have your child walk up to that person and ask them to write a little something in the book.
Right? A little
Date it,
something.
say the name, and say the message they have. For, oh my gosh, Michelle.
And
Uh,
that stayed
Um,
with me.
am I hearing merch? Merch? Mm.
Sounds like it. Every time you
Yes,
talk to me, I'm always like, that sounds like.
yes, yes. But it's an incredible idea for get a book every year for your kids, a new one, and that's something to for your kids to keep it in a box for them. Have them
Yes,
reread everything, and every as they get older, try to read what the older folks have written. Something that I love to do. I don't care if I meet a person once and may never see them again. I like to ask them what are some of the things that they learned in their life. Maybe
yes,
who knows, maybe that wisdom could help me save me from having an experience that would be heart wrenching and grow some wisdom with the matter. But Michelle,
I
that is
think so.
I love
I
it.
think
I love
so.
it.
Yeah, but woo, maybe that's something to start again. Although I'm not 8
Yes.
and now 38, it's still something that I think would be great.
Yeah. Oh, Limey.
But is it that time in which we've got to love and leave? Yes,
Yes.
but we want to say thank you so very much for spending this time with us. It's Michelle and Narda. Feel free to put a quote or something special that
Comment.
someone
Yes.
said to you in the comment section. And remember, you can always email us at michellenarda444@gmail.com and we will respond and bring it up here at some point in time. So thank you so very
Yes.
much. Love and light to you,
Thank
Michelle
you.
and
Thank you. Bye.
Narda.